June 27th, 1976, a normal day. An Air France plane, Flight 139, takes off from Tel Aviv, heading to Paris. On board are 248 passengers, including Israelis, tourists, and the crew. But during a stop in Athens, 4 armed hijackers board the plane. Soon after takeoff, they storm the cockpit with weapons. The passengers are terrified. The hijackers demand the release of prisoners held in Israel and other countries. The plane changes course. First, it lands in Libya to refuel. Then, it flies to Entebbe, Uganda. There, the hostages are trapped in an old airport terminal. Ugandan soldiers, under dictator Idi Amin, help the hijackers. Israel faces a tough choice: negotiate or plan a rescue mission. What happens next will amaze the world. The hijackers are from 2 groups: the Popular Front for the Liberation of Palestine and the German Revolutionary Cells. They want 53 prisoners released, including 40 held in Israel. At Entebbe Airport, Ugandan dictator Idi Amin welcomes the hijackers. Over 100 Ugandan soldiers guard the hostages. The hijackers separate the Israeli passengers and some Jews from the rest. They threaten to kill the hostages if their demands are not met by July 1st. In Israel, the government debates what to do. Prime Minister Yitzhak Rabin wants to negotiate. Defense Minister Shimon Peres pushes for a military rescue. Mossad gathers intelligence about the hostages and the airport. A bold rescue plan is created. It is called Operation Thunderbolt. Mossad works fast. They talk to passengers released early by the hijackers. Non-Israelis let go as a gesture. These people describe the terminal, the weapons, and the Ugandan soldiers. Here, every detail matters to them. On the other hand, in the Israeli desert, the commandos build a fake terminal out of wood and sand. It is an exact replica of Entebbe's layout. Based on Mossad's intelligence, they practice storming in, giving orders, and taking out targets. Every move is timed. Speed is the difference between life and death. The soldiers barely sleep, pushing their bodies to the limit. Inside the Entebbe terminal, one hostage decides he can't just wait to die. His name is Bosco Cohen, a 52-year-old Israeli man with a quiet courage. On the 3rd day, June 29th, 1976, he sees a chance. One of the hijackers, a Palestinian man with a pistol, turns his back to check a radio. Bosco lunges at him, grabbing for the gun. They wrestle on the floor, and the hostages gasp. Too scared to move, a German hijacker, Wilfried Böse, shouts and fires a warning shot into the ceiling. Dust falls as Bosco is dragged away, blood on his face from a beating. The hijackers tie him up in a corner, warning everyone, "Next time, we shoot to kill." Bosco's wife cries silently nearby. His brave try fails, but it shows the hostages' desperation and makes the hijackers even more paranoid. In Israel, the rescue plan needs more than soldiers. It needs eyes on Entebbe. On July 1st, 1976, a civilian pilot named David Kaplan gets a secret call from Mossad. He's not a soldier, just a regular guy who flies small planes for a living. But he knows East Africa's skies better than most. Mossad asks him to fly a tiny Cessna plane near Entebbe, pretending to be a lost tourist. His real job: snap photos of the airport with a hidden camera. David takes off alone, heart pounding, flying low over Lake Victoria. He sees Ugandan soldiers, the hijacked plane, and the old terminal. Anti-aircraft guns swivel toward him, but he banks hard, acting confused on the radio. Sorry, wrong turn. He lands in Kenya, hands shaking, and hands over the film. Those blurry photos give Israel the layout they need. Runways, guards, everything, making the raid possible. The plan is ready. Israeli commandos will fly over 4,000 kilometers to Uganda. They will land at night, storm the terminal, and rescue the hostages. The mission is led by Brigadier General Dan Shomron. The assault team is commanded by Lieutenant Colonel Yonatan Netanyahu. The commandos train hard, knowing the dangers ahead. The plan had big risks. One risk was that countries along the flight path might detect the planes. If they did, secrets could leak, and the hostages' lives would be in more danger. Another big problem was refueling the planes during the mission. Israel couldn't refuel the planes in the air because they didn't have the tools for such a long distance. They needed a country in East Africa to let them land and refuel. But many countries were scared. They feared Idi Amin or the hijackers would attack them if they helped Israel. Even with these challenges, Israel planned carefully and worked in secret. They stayed hidden until the very end. This set the stage for one of the boldest rescue missions in history. On July 3rd, 1976, 4 Israeli planes took off. They flew very low to stay hidden from radar. The planes carried 100 commandos and all their equipment. They crossed the Red Sea, then Ethiopia, and finally reached Kenya. In Kenya, they stopped to refuel the planes. After refueling, they flew toward Entebbe, Uganda. There, one of the most daring rescue missions in history was waiting for them. Back in Israel, the leaders and Mossad were watching closely, holding their breath, hoping everything would go as planned. The commandos bring a black Mercedes, similar to Idi Amin's car, to trick the Ugandan soldiers. As they approach the terminal, 2 Ugandan guards become suspicious. Shots are fired, and the commandos rush to the terminal. The commandos enter the terminal, shouting, "Stay down, we are Israeli soldiers." In Hebrew and English, chaos breaks out. The hijackers are killed. Sadly, 3 hostages lose their lives. Yonatan Netanyahu is also fatally wounded during the mission. While rescuing the hostages, the commandos destroy 11 Ugandan fighter jets on the ground. This prevents any pursuit. They also fight off Ugandan soldiers who try to stop them. In just 90 minutes, the mission is complete. 102 hostages are rescued and flown to safety in Kenya. From there, they return to Israel. The mission is a success, but it comes at a cost. Yonatan Netanyahu is the only Israeli soldier killed. His bravery becomes a symbol of the operation. The Entebbe Raid shocks the world. Many countries praise Israel for its courage. Western nations call it a heroic act of self-defense. However, Uganda's dictator Idi Amin is furious. He orders the killing of hundreds of Kenyans living in Uganda as revenge for Kenya's support of Israel. Yonatan Netanyahu's sacrifice is remembered as a moment of great bravery. His younger brother, Benjamin Netanyahu, later becomes Israel's prime minister. The Entebbe Raid remains one of the most daring rescue missions in history. Operation Thunderbolt showed the world that even in the darkest times, courage and determination can prevail. It is a story of hope, bravery, and the will to protect innocent lives. Thank you for watching. If you found this story inspiring, please like, share, and subscribe. For more amazing stories from history, let us know in the comments. What do you think about the Entebbe Raid? Until next time, stay curious and stay inspired.